Hello students, welcome to this session. I am Dr. Amarjeet Singh, Associate Professor of Botany in Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Yamunanagar. Today we shall study about temperature as a climatic factor. The contents of this presentation shall include temperature as a climatic factor, effects of temperature on plants, adaptations in plants, vegetation classification, and measurement of temperature in the last. Let us have a brief information about climate and climatic factors. As we know, climate is the average weather conditions of any area for a longer period of time, and all those factors which control it are called as climatic factors or areal factors. They include water, humidity, wind, light, and temperature. We have already studied about the first four factors, and today we shall study about temperature as a climatic factor. Now, temperature is a physical property of the matter. It displays the thermal energy present in it. Or in other words, it is a comparative measure of how hot or cold a material is. As solar radiations are received by Earth, some of them are converted into heat. This heat is a form of energy. So that is how any object becomes hot or cold. The measurement of the same is called as the measurement of temperature. The temperature of Earth is also influenced by the atmospheric composition, because in the atmosphere there are gases which can trap the infrared radiations. In the recent past, increase in the concentration of these gases have resulted into the greenhouse effect or global warming. Variation in temperature at a time may take place due to change in latitude and altitude. As a climatic factor, temperature plays very important role in the life of all the organisms. The most vital activities in living organisms are generally confined between 30 to 50 degree Celsius temperature. But there are certain exceptions also. Some bacteria and cyanobacteria are found in hot springs at a temperature of even 90 degrees Celsius, while some other organisms may be living in sub-zero temperature. But most of the organisms fail to survive at a very high temperature. This is because of enzymes become inactive or proteins may coagulate. Thus, the optimum temperature is very much required by different organisms for their survival, growth, and development. On the basis of their body temperature, animals are put into two categories. One is homeotherms and the second is poikilotherms. Homeotherms are also called as endothermic animals or warm-blooded animals. They are able to maintain their body temperature at a constant level irrespective of outside temperature. Examples are mammals and birds. Poikilotherms are called as ectothermic animals or cold-blooded animals. Their body temperature fluctuates with the change in environmental temperature. Examples are amphibians, reptiles, and fishes. This temperature has a very pronounced effect on the life activities of plants. And a number of processes are affected by change in temperature. So let us study how temperature affects the life of plants. First effect is on the metabolic activities. Temperature regulates the activities of enzymes and all the chemical reactions in the body of organisms are controlled by it. Thus, we see the metabolic processes in plants are affected by temperature. The important processes that are controlled by temperature are photosynthesis, transpiration, respiration, seed germination, absorption of water and minerals, flowering, growth and movements, etc. All these processes are affected by temperature. Second impact is thermoperiodism. Thermoperiodism is a phenomena in which plant growth and development is affected by temperature. We know temperature varies not only due to latitude or altitude, but also due to time, season, topography, soil type, vegetation, clouds, moisture, and even today because of urbanization. The change may in temperature may take place from hour to hour in diurnal cycle, and the change may take place from season to season in seasonal cycle. Most of the plants get themselves adjusted to such rhythmic changes in temperature for their different physiological activities. This type of regulation of the processes by temperature is called as thermoperiodism. This thermoperiodism is of two types. One is called as seasonal thermoperiodism and the other is called as diurnal thermoperiodism. Seasonal thermoperiodism controls major periodical phenomena, that is, the phenology of plants such as flowering, fruiting, fruit and seed dispersal, leaf shedding, and formation of new leaves. In diurnal thermoperiodism, temperature controls some processes in the life cycle of plants such as seed germination, fruit setting, and formation of some storage organs. In some temperate plants, growth is best under low night temperature and high day temperature. Another impact is vernalization. It is also called as low temperature treatment that is required for flowering. It is noticed especially in some plants which are biennials or perennials. In these plants, low temperature promotes flowering. In case of winter rye, that is Sickle cereal, when it was sown in spring, it produced vegetative plants in the summer. But the same variety, when sown in autumn, it produced flowers in the following summer. Further, if its seeds are pre-soaked in water and subjected to about 2 weeks of freezing temperature and then sown in spring, they produced flowers in the same season. So it has shown that some period of low temperature is essential for the stimulation of flowering in such plants, and that same low temperature is provided by the winter season. So the introduction of low temperature treatment required for initiation of flowering is called as vernalization. So we see that how important temperature is for the flowering process to take place in some of the plants. Next effect is vegetation pattern and composition. The range of temperature in different parts of the world affects the pattern and composition of vegetation. We see that hot and humid equatorial belt is occupied by evergreen forests, and these forests have thick vegetation, whereas temperate areas with low temperature are having forests of coniferous trees. Further, the polar regions have very cold conditions. They are characterized by very sparse vegetation. So we see all over the world, due to variation in temperature, there is difference in vegetation pattern. Next effect is injuries to the plants due to very low or high temperature. Both these conditions cause adverse effects on plants. Let us first study effects due to high temperature. The first effect is wilting. Indirectly, high temperature causes wilting of leaves and young stems because the rate of transpiration increases, and due to deficiency of water, the tender parts of the plant show wilting. Second is yellowing of leaves. Very high temperature may result in the breakdown of photosynthetic pigments, and the leaves may appear yellow. This yellowing should not be confused with chlorophyll. So chlorosis is another phenomena which is different from this kind of yellowing due to high temperature. Another effect due to high temperature is leaf scorching. Sometimes burn symptoms appear on the margins of the leaves due to high temperature. This is called as leaf scorch. Fruit scald is because of high temperature, the surface browning or cracks may be formed on the soft cores of the fruit. It is called as fruit scald. Germination of seeds and spores is also affected by high temperature. Their germination may be inhibited due to excessively high temperature. Sun scald is another impact. Due to high temperature, the sunny side of the plant trunk has higher temperature than the shaded side. The side that is exposed to high temperature may have the death of some of the cells. This side may form canker called as sun scald, and it is very common during the dormant season. Stem girdle is another effect due to high temperature. During the hot sunny days, the temperature of the soil is higher than the temperature in the atmosphere. It may cause the scorching of tender stem tissues at ground level. They appear in the form of stem girdle. The soft tissue may get damaged and become prone to pathogens. Thus, we see high temperature has a number of ill effects on the physiology and morphology of certain plants. Let us now study the effects due to low temperature. First one is desiccation. The plant tissue may be dehydrated and injured due to rapid transpiration and low absorption during winter. So this is an important effect due to low temperature. Second one is chilling injury. It is the killing or injury of plants of hot climate when they are exposed to low temperature. Third effect is freezing injury. In plants of temperate climate, water in the intercellular spaces may get frozen, forming ice crystals. You know, on freezing, water expands, and this can cause injury to the surrounding cells. So these are the effects due to low temperature. Plants have shown adaptations in response to low or high temperature. They bring about a variety of morphological, anatomical, and physiological changes to adapt to the extremes of temperature. Let us study how the adaptations are there. First, in response to low temperature. One is the formation of sugars and fats. Some plants can prevent frost injury by converting their starch into soluble sugars and fats. This will ultimately depress the freezing point of water. Many plants can synthesize frost-resistant proteins that have more hydrophilic bonds, and that is how they can protect themselves from low temperature. Now, second adaptation is reduction in freely available water. Some cold evading plants produce many substances such as mucilage, pentosanes, and pectic compounds. All these chemicals reduce the availability of free water. Otherwise, this free water may freeze and damage the cells. Third adaptation is overwintering. Some plants cease their growth during low temperature, while some develop bulbs, tubers, and rhizomes, etc. for passing the winter season, and this is called as overwintering. The surface of delicate plant parts may have a coating of hair to prevent ill effects of sudden cooling, and thus they protect the plants from low temperature. Now, in response to high temperature, the adaptations include that many plants may have thick cuticle and thick corky bark. These structures protect the underlying soft tissues from heat. Second is the stem surface may become whitish, and this can reflect most of the radiations and protect the plant from excessive heating. Some plant leaves get vertically oriented to receive less solar radiations and avoid the high temperature. Leaves may be covered by scales, waxy coating, or dead hair in many plants. This is to reduce transpirational loss during high temperature. Then in some plants, they may develop tannins and anthocyanins in the epidermal cells. This protects the inner cells from harmful radiations. And in some plants that are growing under high temperature conditions, they have low moisture contents in their protoplasm. This increases heat tolerance of important protoplasmic constituents. And in response to high temperature, the presence of mucilage and higher contents of soluble carbohydrates provide protection to plants against high temperature. Thus, we see that in response to high temperature, plants carry out different types of activities in them. Sometimes we classify plants on the basis of their temperature tolerance. There are 4 common categories of plants on the basis of their temperature tolerance. The first one is megatherms. These plants are found where there is the prevalence of high temperature, that is generally above 24 degrees Celsius, and high humidity may be there. The dominant vegetation is tropical rain forests. Second class is that of mesotherms. Such plants are found where there is high summer temperature about 24 degrees Celsius and that alternates with low winter temperature, which is about 17 degrees Celsius. The vegetation is subtropical deciduous forests. Third class is microtherms. The temperature is low in winter, about 7 degrees Celsius, and is moderately warm in summer, about 10 to 17 degrees Celsius. Occasionally, there may be snow and frost in winters. The vegetation in such areas is mixed coniferous forests. Fourth category is hikistotherms. The winters are very long with low temperature and abundant snowfall may take place in these areas. This alternates with a brief summer having temperate or temperature mostly below 10 degrees Celsius. The vegetation is Arctic or alpine type. Thus, we see over the globe, due to variation in temperature, different classes of vegetation exist at different sites. In the last, let us study how we measure temperature. The instrument that is used to measure temperature is called as thermometer. A variety of thermometers are available in the market nowadays. Many of them are thin glass tubes filled with mercury or alcohol. Some thermometers also involve the use of a bimetal strip. The thermometers may have a linear scale or a digital display. Temperature is expressed in degrees and the value can be shown as Fahrenheit, Celsius or Kelvins. Kelvin is the SI unit, which is the standard international. So that is how we measure temperature of any area or any object. Let us have a recapitulation of what we have studied today. We have studied temperature as a climatic factor, how it affects the life of plants, different phenomena that are affected by temperature. Then we studied the adaptations in plants in response to extremes of temperature, that is high temperature or low temperature. We have also studied about classification of the vegetation on the basis of temperature tolerance. And in the last, we have studied about the measurement of temperature. Here are some of the questions whose reply you can give in brief, and I hope this is sufficient for you and you must have understood the impacts of temperature on the life of plants. Thank you.